Prisoners of eternal youth. Why you should never turn toward abandoned campgrounds. It all began 3 years ago, in late October. My friends and I decided to host a farewell weekend to the passing summer. The Indian summer had lingered that year, and the mountain air remained dry and warm. We pulled off the highway, trusting a weathered wooden sign. Silent Mirror Campground. The strange caretaker. The season had long since ended. We were met by the caretaker, an old man named Silas. He was a grotesque figure. Short, with a heavy hunch that made it seem as though his head grew directly from the center of his chest. Silas was boarding up the shutters of the last cabin, but for a couple of $100, he agreed to let us stay the night. That evening, he sat by our fire. At first, he spun yarns about bears, but after a few swigs of bourbon, he drifted into local folklore. He spoke of the Black Creek, which awakens only during the full moon before the first frost. He swore its water consisted of the tears of the earth, granting eternal beauty, but only to those ready to leave their soul at the bottom. Silas claimed he had lost his fiancée, Anna, 40 years ago. She was a beauty, you couldn't tear your eyes away. But in the water's reflection, I saw a bony hag. We just chuckled, until we noticed Sarah, the wife of my best friend, Mark, listening with bated breath. Suddenly, the old man yanked a lock of Sarah's hair and tossed it into the fire. An emerald green flame erupted, and I spiraled into a heavy, unnatural sleep. The ritual at the lake. I awoke in the dead of night from the biting cold. The moon was massive and an eerie, jaundiced yellow. A figure flickered through the trees. Driven by a strange premonition, I followed, stumbling into a hidden clearing. Where there had been a dry ravine by day, a powerful purple spring now surged. Women circled it. Among them, I recognized Sarah. She stood before Silas, who no longer looked like a pathetic old man, but a high priest. Sarah stepped into the freezing water and vanished beneath the surface. I waited, 1 minute, 2, 5. When she finally emerged, she was no longer the tired woman exhausted by the grind of daily life. She was a goddess. But her gaze. It had turned cold, like Arctic ice. The price of transformation. A year later, we ran into Sarah at a charity gala. She was 45, yet she looked 19. My wife, Emma, lost her peace of mind after that encounter. Diets, fillers, endless clinics, nothing could help her recapture that spark Sarah now radiated. In a fit of despair, I told Emma about that night. I thought it would repulse her. Instead, she whispered a single command. Take me there. The trap snapped shut. We returned to Silent Mirror on the same lunar night. Everything repeated. The whistle of the wind, shadows on broomsticks, or something that looked like them in the moonlight, and the violet glow of the spring. Emma was torn from my arms. I watched as she went under. When she returned to me, young, radiant, and terrifyingly beautiful, I rushed to embrace her. But instead of a kiss, I felt a sharp, searing pain in my neck. The secret of their beauty is simple. They don't need cosmetics, they need living fuel. Now, I am her personal donor. She tends to my health, stuffing me with the finest foods and vitamins to ensure my blood is rich. But with every full moon, I feel the life draining out of me. My veins grow hollow, while her skin only becomes softer. If you ever meet a hunchbacked caretaker in the woods offering ghost stories and legends of youth, run. You cannot cheat time for free. The final harvest. I look in the mirror and don't recognize the old man staring back. I'm only 40, but my skin has taken on an earthy pallor, and my eyes are sunken, framed by dark hollows. Emma, however, glows. She flits through our home in the Hamptons like a girl fresh out of college. Her laughter is a silver bell, but to me, it sounds like a knife scraping a plate. She no longer hides her nature. During the full moon, her pupils dilate until they fill her irises with ink-black darkness. She approaches me, stroking my cheek with a cool palm, and whispers. Just a little more, darling. Your heart is so strong. It pumps life so well. A new guest. Yesterday, our neighbor stopped by, a young attorney named Chris. He recently moved in and came over to introduce himself. I saw Emma's eyes light up. She looked at his strong neck, at the pulsing vein there, as if he were a rare delicacy. You look so tired, Chris told me, shaking his head sympathetically. You need more fresh air. My friends and I are planning a hike to an abandoned camp in the northern woods next weekend. Want to join? Emma stepped up behind him, resting her hands on his shoulders with a predatory smile. Oh, Chris, that's a wonderful idea. We'll certainly be there. My husband. He's not the man he used to be. He needs a replacement. Chris flushed, flattered by the attention of such a young and beautiful woman. He didn't notice how her nails momentarily lengthened, leaving faint scratches on his expensive blazer. Finale. I am writing this in my study while she picks out a dress for the upcoming hunt. My fingers are trembling, and my letters are crooked. Do not believe the fairy tales of eternal youth. Beauty bought under a full moon at a violet spring is nothing but a mask hiding a void. Old age is beautiful because it is natural. Death is beautiful because it is final. If you meet a woman in the woods whose skin glows from within and whose gaze makes your heart race, leave. Do not look back at her call. For a single night of illusory happiness, you will pay with the rest of your life, becoming a living feeder for the woman you once called your wife. Cherish your wrinkles. They are the map of your real life. Everything else is just a devilish temptation and a cold whisper in the October woods.